You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC Conroe and worldwide on the irlonestar.com.
Trick or treat, Lone Star Radio listeners. This is Dick, the general manager, taking this quick moment to remind you that Lone Star Community Radio is looking to fill some of our talk show slots along with some of our DJ slots. We have a new show airing on the 10th, Making Connections with Stacey Harris, which will air every second Tuesday of the month at 1 p.m. Make sure to check it out along with our other programs on Lone Star Community Radio. For more information on Lone Star Community Radio, visit us online at irlonestar.com. And again, if you're interested in doing something with us, call the station, 936-647-3776. Thanks for checking out this recording, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for checking out this podcasted version of Jake from Sports Talk. I hope you enjoy. And while you listen to the show, go on over to Facebook and like, subscribe, and follow my show page, Jake from Sports Talk. Don't forget, you can listen to the show every Wednesday from 1 to 2 on Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 or on irlonestar.com. Enjoy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into Jake from Sports Talk. I'm your host, Jake LaFleur. We are broadcasting from the IR Lone Star studio in downtown beautiful Conroe, Texas. Don't forget that there are multiple ways to listen live to the show, either 104.5 or 106.1 if you are in the greater Montgomery County area, or if you are listening worldwide on irlonestar.com. You can also tune in that way. And and if you ever miss a live show or you want to re-listen to a show because you just like it so much, you can find the replays of the show on YouTube, Google Play, and iTunes. And please follow the show on all the social media platforms where you should like, subscribe, follow, do all those wonderful things, and so on and so forth. And welcome in. It's another Wednesday. Glad to have you all back in for another edition of Jake from Sports Talk. So excited about today's show, but also kind of sad because we don't have money bag mics in today. No Mike's Like segment this week. And so thus, I know if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening and you're wondering if I actually followed through with our little wager from last week, no, I'm not wearing a Tampa Bay Bucks jersey, even though the Giants did lose to Tampa Bay. But I said, if he's not going to be on the show, then I'll postpone me having to pay off that debt to Mikey. I don't know if it'll be next week or if it'll be the following week, but one of these upcoming weeks when we have him on. And also, I got to get one. You can't get a Tampa Bay Bucks jersey at just any local sporting goods store. And, unless you live in the greater Tampa area, right? But unfortunately, we don't. So if there's a listener out there from Tampa that wants to send me a Tampa Bay jersey or shirt, yeah, come on. Send it on over to the Lone Star Community Radio Studios. I'll take a free Tampa shirt and wear it for a day. But, yeah, so no Mike today, unfortunately. I don't know what he's up to. He's busy. Who cares? But hopefully we'll have him back in next week. And, yeah, we'll get on. We'll talk about our football and stuff. The big news, or a big topic that I'm going to bring somebody else in, is our station manager, Dick Schisler. We're going to talk about some soccer here in a minute. Two big matches coming up for the U.S. here on Friday and then the following Tuesday as well. And we'll discuss that. And then he'll dive into a little bit about what's going on over there in Spain right now from a political standpoint and how that could ultimately affect the soccer world. But to start out, we've got the perfect kind of, I don't even know, combination, collision, crash course, section of the calendar right now. So we got baseball at its finest, and we're going to dive into the playoffs and all that glory that we've got going on there with that. Playoffs started yesterday with the Yankees and Twins. That was an entertaining game. Like I said, we'll get in and talk to them. We've got football, obviously, going on right now at the college level and at the professional level. And then we've got hockey starting tonight at the very first games going on tonight. The first actual game of the season will be Maple Leafs at Jets, 6 p.m. start. We got Blues and Penguins. Penguins are the favorite heading back into the start of this year. And, the Blues are kind of still the same old team they are every year. They're right around the 500 range, right about, making that wild card spot for the playoff position. Penguins, again, favored. We'll see how that game goes tonight. Then you got Flyers and Sharks. Our station manager, Dick, he's a huge Flyers fan. Poor him. But the biggest game that I want to see tonight is the Calgary Flames versus the Oilers. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, well, these two teams are terrible. Why would you want to ever watch those two teams play each other? Well, because of Jaromir Jagr. And I'm saying that like a white person would say it. I'm probably butchering his first name, but Jaromir Jagr is for those who don't know hockey very well, he is a journeyman hockey player. He's a really good talent, and he's actually a really good player. He's not just a goon that goes out and hits people, but he is a journeyman in the sense that he is now playing for his 8th team in the league in an 18-year span. He was drafted in 1990. I wasn't even born, Dick. I don't know what year you were born, but I was born in 1993. And this man was drafted into the NHL prior to that, and he's still playing, which is just absolutely remarkable. I mean, that's 28 years he's been or going on 28 years he's been in this league. He is 45 now, and that makes him the oldest player in the NHL and still actively playing. He's not the oldest to ever play in the NHL as far as, when people retired, but at the current moment in time, he is the oldest player to be actively playing in the NHL. And that got me wondering, okay, well, how does this compare? How does this stack up against other leagues? And it really doesn't, because you look at I don't know. So when I go through these, the next three, the other big three sports, MLB, NBA, and NFL. So MLB, you got Bartolo Colon pitching for the Mets. He's 43, which is old, but he's a pitcher, so he doesn't necessarily play every day. Sometimes he's limited to 5 or 6, innings. He's not going and playing the full game. Not to take anything away from what he's doing at 43, it's still incredibly impressive, but still. Then you got NBA Vince Carter at 40. I mean, he's not starting anymore. He's a bench guy now, and he's not overly productive. He doesn't play the 35-minute, games like he used to, and he doesn't play the 40-minute games like LeBron does. And then you go NFL. Adam Vinatieri is obviously the kicker. He has 3 Super Bowl championships with the Patriots, and then he's got 1 with Indianapolis. He's 44. Again, a kicker doesn't play a whole lot. Although I do want to raise my kids to be kickers in the NFL. They get paid really good money, and they don't have to play all that often. Their chances of getting hurt aren't as likely, and they can play until they're 44 if they're really good. So, the three things of looking at those 3 players and the oldest players in those specific sports is they're not getting the time on the ice or on the field or on the court quite like Jagr is. Jagr plays significant amount of minutes, just as much as anybody else on a team. He's still extremely productive. He almost had the Panthers last year in the playoffs. So his 8 total teams he's played for. He was drafted in 1990 by the Penguins. He played for them for 11 years. Then he went to the Capitals for 3 years, Rangers for 4. I don't even know who. This team isn't even around. Dick, do you even know who the Umgard Omsk is?
Yeah, it's a Russian team.
It's a Russian team. So he wasn't actually in the NFL or the NHL for those 3 years.
Yeah, that was during the strike era.
Oh, that's right. And
then he kind of stayed because they paid him a lot of money.
That's right. Okay, so during the strike rebound, he went 2008 to 2011 there. And then 2011 through 2013, he played for the Flyers, Stars, and Bruins. Oh, wow. No, so he's played for more. Yeah, so he's played for more there. And then 2013 to 15, he was on the Devils. 2015 to 2017, he was with the Panthers. And now 2017 to present, He is with the Calgary Flames. So, yeah, that's absolutely insane to think. I really I should have looked at that list a little closer when I saw the Russian team. I probably wouldn't have freaked out so bad. But yeah, no, the man is old. And
Well, it's interesting, just to give you a heads up how good he was over there compared to like the rest of the folks. Yager
with the Russian team,
the 3 years he was there, he pretty much is on like the top 5 player ever to play there.
Top 5
In the history of that team. Yeah.
In just those 3 years, he raised his level that high.
Yeah.
Well, and that beautiful voice you are hearing is our station manager, Dick Schisler, and he does a wonderful job producing my show, and I'm very thankful that he allows me to even have a show here. Little do y'all know, I do a lot of producing work here as well. When so Dick can go play around town and not have to do any work. So
Yeah.
But Dick, while I got you on, I guess let's dive into the soccer talk. So what do you want to start? You want to start with the USA or do you want to start with the Spain?
Well, I mean, you're at 10-minute mark, so it depends on what you want to do.
Okay, let's go USA
Okay.
now, and I may bring you back on after, and we'll do Spain at that point.
Okay. If everyone knows, this week in soccer is the international weekend for the qualifications of the World Cup. Everyone's going to be kind of tying it down. USA, as it stands right now, is at number 4 position in the hexagon. They have 2 more games to play. They're going to be playing Panama, and I believe they're going to be playing Trinidad. So there's 2 easier teams for them, which is nice. And the people who were worried about Panama are going to be playing Mexico at least, and so that's kind of nice. They're at the top of the table. How it works here for the qualifications, if folks don't know, the top 3 teams out of 6 go directly to the World Cup. The number 4 team is placed into a more of like a knockout game against, I believe it's a certain area in Asia. I forgot what the acronym for them, but it's somewhere in they're playing an Asian-based team, so it could be.
It's got Australia in there as well,
yes,
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So they're like the Pacific Asian area.
Yeah, it's some weird. I mean, I could look it up and be like a professional about this, but but no. But so good thing is there's a high percentage chance of going to the World Cup. I think ESPN ran an article. It's like 85% chance they're going to go directly to the World Cup because of the 2 teams they're playing are pretty easy. And then
but we're playing on the road, aren't we?
One game is.
Yeah, I know. I know Friday's game's on the road.
Well, pretty much it's on the road any game, just to let you know. So, but the good thing is Mexico is playing the 2 other teams. The other 2 games that they're playing, they're playing against people that we need them to beat. And actually, I think it was last World Cup, I want to say, is we actually got Mexico into the World Cup because we won.
Yeah.
So
Mexico owes us.
Mexico technically owes us, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. So if you're into soccer, please check that out. I mean, they're playing on Friday, I believe it is, and on Tuesday. So that's gonna be a lot of fun to watch, just because the players know how much is on the line, and that's one thing I like about soccer. And it's similar to like baseball and all those sports where you're watching all season long, and finally you can put on paper why this is important. Why these players need to show up today. So I expect, the coach motivation to be really high and the social media inspiration to be really high. And it's going to be a lot of fun watching soccer. So
yeah, and keep an eye from the Houston standpoint. Keep an eye on the Houston Dynamo as well. They are up by 1 point right now over RSL, which is Real Salt Lake, and then San Jose as well. They're up by 1 point on both of those 2 teams. They're sitting 5th in the Western Conference, and how those playoffs work. Top 6 teams make it in to the playoffs from each side, each conference. And so if Houston can hang on, I mean, they could be an actual threat going into the playoffs.
Well, they usually do really well in the playoffs, no matter what position or seed they're in. So that's what's kind of nice. They always somehow turn up. I can't explain it. It's kind of like the Houston curse. They'll do really well until the last minute.
I really like how the MLS does their playoff format, though, too. So I think the way it's structured is very nice. But all right, we're gonna come back, and we're not gonna talk soccer right away. I want to dive in to this Spain situation because it's political. It's like a Brexit situation that's going on over there. So we may bring that back in if we have time during the 4th segment. But when we come back right now, we're going to talk a lot of baseball, and I'll let you know what I saw out of last night's Yankees-Twins game and what the Indians are probably licking their chops at. So stay tuned. You're listening to Jake from Sports Talk. We'll be right back.
Our talk shows and music shows are looking for sponsors. Want to expand your brand awareness? Reach the hyper-local audience in Montgomery County? Lone Star Community Radio sponsorships accomplish this. Want to see our stats and rates? Check out irlonestar.com/sponsor for more information. Or call in and leave us a message at 936-647-3776 with your question. Get seen on TV or YouTube and heard on our podcast, FM, and internet radio. Sponsor your local radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
So as my show continues to grow, and yes, I'm going to brag about myself right now. I'm so awesome. My show continues to grow. More and more people keep commenting on this song, Dick, and I got to tell you, I picked a good song for my bumper music. I killed it, knocked it out of the park here.
You're welcome.
You're what?
I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, no way. I'm taking credit for this one. You dissed this song at first. I'm awesome. I'm great. And I am Jake LaFleur, and welcome into my show, Jake from Sports Talk, back here on FM 104.5 or 106.1 in the greater Montgomery County area. And if you're listening worldwide, I heard Nathan says he has people that listen from Afghanistan, so that's pretty cool. If you're listening into the Sports Talk show from Afghanistan, and I'm assuming you're probably military service over there, thank you for your service. Thank you for listening. Enjoy having all the ears, and if you're watching on YouTube, all the eyes tuned in on me, because that's what egocentric people do. So, talking about the best of Yankees, Twins last night to start off the MLB season and MLB postseason and the October baseball hunt. Really, I know we had some baseball on October 1st this past Sunday, which it doesn't really count. I'm not counting it. A lot of it was sloppy baseball. A lot of it was we had the playoffs set, so there was no concern or worries there. So, Yankees Twins open up the AL wild card playoff game, and we're going to talk a little bit about. I'm going to break down the game first, and we're going to talk about the actual format of the playoffs and why I kind of disagree with it. But we saw Yankees win 8-4, and we saw what they do best and what their recipe for success is heading into this postseason, and that is a lot of power and a lot of relief pitching. Their bullpen was stellar yesterday. Pitching, their starter only got a third of an inning. He didn't even record a strikeout. He got one out, but it was a ground ball, I think. Didn't even get a strikeout. He's only the fifth starting pitcher to never get a strikeout and have the team go on and win that postseason game. So Severino doesn't even get through a third or 2/3 of an inning, and the Yankees have to bring in their bullpen. Twins open up and shell them. 2 home runs in the first inning, one for very first batter, solo shot, and then 2 batters later hits 2-run home run, excuse me, and they take an early 3-0 lead over the Yankees, and you're just thinking, oh my goodness, they're pulling their pitcher already. Their bullpen is going to be just dead tired at the end of this game. If they win, if by some miracle they win, the Twins are going to be so hot. But here come the Yankees turning around, and right at the Didi Gregorius in the bottom of the first inning turns around and hits a 3-run home run to tie it up. And Twins get through the inning. They clear out the outs. They go into the second, and it's basically start the game over. Let's play an 8-inning baseball game. Let's start it over. It's 0-0 essentially. No. Yankees power still very dominant there. Brett Gardner hits a home run. Aaron Judge, the big name there, hits a home run. Yankees threw out Chad Green, Tommy Cannell, David Robertson, who ended up getting, he was their longest relief pitcher at 3 1/3, and he's the one who got the win. And then Aroldis Chapman as well. He pitched in the ninth. It wasn't a save opportunity, but he pitched in the ninth. So throwing out those 4 pitchers and maintaining the remaining innings of the game, the 9 innings practically, all minus 1 out, thanks to Severino. That's huge. I mean, and that's, like I said, that's the recipe for success for the Yankees baseball, is lots of power, the long ball essentially, and then their bullpen is really good. But you got to be thinking about this from, an Indians standpoint. They got to be licking their chaps. I mean, hey, look, we already know this one of their starters is razzled, and he's probably not going to be, we can probably guarantee ourselves a win against him. And their bullpen's already been tested and already had to use, way overused in the first game. We can start them off, and we can, they're going to be a little more tired and beat up, coming into this series against us. So I think the Indians got to be feeling pretty favorable, and the Indians match up a lot better against the Yankees than the Twins do. Twins, heck of a season, coming around from 59 wins, over 100 losses last year. First team to ever do this, over 100 losses one season, and then the next season make the playoffs. Great kudos to them. They have a wonderful manager. Joe Mauer, still a class act player in the MLB. I don't think they're going to have any problems. They got a lot of young talent. I think they're going to be good going forward. But I think they kind of got the raw end of the deal here on this. I don't like, and I know if you're watching online, I am a Red Sox fan. I have not ever hid that fact from you, but I am a realistic fan. I'm not a fanatic fan. I'm a realistic fan. And we're going to talk about how I'm realistic here in a second. But the Yankees, as much as I despise them, I'm being completely fair and honest here. The Yankees are a better team. And I think if you play it out in a 3-game series, the Yankees would still win the series. But I don't like, if you're going to give the team an opportunity to make the playoffs with a wild card game, I don't like having it come down to one game. Too many things can go wrong. Now, this game that happened yesterday, the 8-4 win for the Yankees, I think would be the summary of what would happen over that series. If you played their series, a 3-game series between the Yankees and the Twins, 9 times out of 10, the Yankees are going to win that series. But I don't like the opportunity to leaving it up to a lot of chance. We could see tonight in the Arizona-Colorado game something go just horrifically wrong. A fan reaches over into play and interferes with the ball. A bounce, funky bounce comes up and hits a pitcher in the face. They lose their starting pitcher. Greinke goes out. I don't like it leaving it up to chance. And I've preached this year that I want less baseball throughout the regular season. I want shorter, faster games. I want less games in the regular season. But when it comes to the postseason, it's a different atmosphere. And if you're going to give the team the opportunity to make a wild card, then why not give them the opportunity to actually play 3 games? Get 3 starters out there. Show what their team... baseball is not defined in one game. That's why we don't play 1-game series during the regular season. You play 3-game or 4-game, occasionally a 2-game series during the regular season against every team every time you play them. So why are we going to all of a sudden just say, oh, here's baseball, and throw the rules out the window? Let's play 1 game and 1 game only. The only time I think that would be okay to come into play is if you had a situation where there was a tie for a division or a wild card. Like, who gets the last wild card spot? So they would play a 1-game series to get into the wild card. Then the wild card would be a 3-game series. Then round 1 would be a 5-game series. And then round 2 or the next 2 rounds after that would be, because round 1 would be wild card. Round 1, 3-game. Round 2, 5, 3, 7. If that makes sense. The championship series games would be 7, and the World Series would be 7. The DS games would be 5, and the wild card would be 3. I think that would be the most responsible way for baseball to handle this, because we do, like I said, we've got the Rockies versus Arizona tonight. We got John Gray and Zach Greinke going head to head. Rockies are on the road. They're 1 game over 500 on the road this season. Greinke is on the mound, and he has a 13-1 record at home this season. I think Arizona with Greinke on the mound, I don't see them losing this game. If they do, it'll be because Greinke leaves the game in the 7th, and their bullpen gives up, 3 or 4 runs in the 8th and 9th. That'll be it'll basically come down to how many runs can Arizona score while Greinke is on the mound. Arizona notably does not have the best bullpen, and if Greinke can get through 8 innings and then send it out to the reliever, and I'm blanking on his name, but I can see him. He shoots the arrow after the game, after he gets his save. If those 2 pitchers go, That's perfect. But I don't know if their offense can't get 4 or 5 runs and if Greinke can't give you more than 8 innings, then I could see Colorado winning this. But I don't think Greinke's gonna come off the pitcher's mound like that. And I'm getting yelled at by my station manager. He's cursing me out over here off air. He's saying I gotta go. When we come back, we're gonna talk the rest of the playoffs for baseball. I know I went on a little rant there. We're gonna talk Astros, Red Sox, Indians, Yankees. Well, we kind of already talked to Indians, Yankees a little bit. We may skip over them. Nationals, Cubs, Dodgers, and the winners of the second wild card game. So stay tuned here on 104.5, 106.1, and worldwide on irlonestar.com. You are listening to Jake from Sports Talk. We'll be right back.
Remember to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on your computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. Lone Star Community Radio broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
Welcome back to Jake from Sports Talk. I'm your host, Jake LaFleur. Glad to have you guys back in here on another Wednesday. Glad to have Dick in here helping me out with, we're playing around with some stuff. So if you guys do, remember, you can always go check out the replays of all these shows. If you ever missed anything with Mike's Like segments, or if you really like the show, you really like the episode, you want to go back and listen to it again, you want to share it with your friends and family, you want to tell them about how awesome this young man, Jake LaFleur is. Yeah, I'm that great, I know. Go out and share them. Let them know that they can check out the podcast version of this on Google Play and iTunes. But if they go check out the video version on YouTube, and you do this as well, I want you to go check it out. We're trying out a few different things on the video side of things. Let us know what you think of the YouTube version, how everything looks. Let us know if we can make any changes to make it more aesthetically pleasing for the viewers out there. So, all right, as I said before we went to break, we're going to talk a little more baseball coming in here. Indians, Yankees, we briefly touched on this about, the Yankees bullpen getting tested already and how that could ultimately favor the Indians. I don't think the Indians are going to have a hard time with the Yankees just due to the fact that their starting pitching can go so deep in a game and control a game, the flow of the game, the pace of the game, everything about a game. I think that favors the Indians greatly over the Yankees. Now, with that said, the bats of the Yankees are looking hot right now. Judge is on fire, and my father preached about this, about how much he doesn't think Judge is going to turn out to something. Man, you saw him very first postseason game last night. Second at bat, launches one out. The kid is for real, and he's going to be the next Derek Jeter of the Yankees. And best of luck and best success to his career, and so on and so forth. But I think the Indians do take this, and I think they take it in 4, if not 3, if it's not a full clean sweep. Looking at the Nationals and Cubs, heading on over to the National League side, I don't even know how to go about this one. Cubs are kind of beat up in the starting rotation. They haven't looked very consistent all year, but I don't necessarily trust the Nationals. I mean, how many times have we seen them make it into the postseason and just kind of like, it's just a bunch of, it's terrible. It's not. So I don't know. I don't know if I really trust them yet in order to say, hey, look, I'm going to go ahead and say this is the year they do something. I don't know. And I don't know what to make with the Cubs rotation right now, with all the injuries on the pitching staff and with the inconsistency in the bats. So we'll see. I feel like they're missing a leadership in the clubhouse. That'll be a fun series to watch because those two teams really don't like each other, especially after the last 2 years meeting in the playoffs. So we'll see how that goes. And then the Dodgers do face the winners of the Arizona-Colorado game. I do think I'm going to make the bold prediction and say Arizona does win that. So I think Dodgers versus Arizona, but I don't think it matters between Arizona and Colorado who wins that game. I think no matter who wins it, the Dodgers are going to take them out. And I think I actually picked the the playoffs very accurately this year. I think I'm gonna have to go back and watch a couple shows ago. It was about 2 or 3 months ago. We just hit it was the All-Star break. We were coming out of the All-Star break. I think I picked every team to make it, and I picked the exact spot they made it. Oh man, I am just that good at sports talk hosting. I'm amazing. But I think the Dodgers, that just clicked in my brain. I think the Dodgers go ahead and win whatever that series is, and they go on to face Nationals or Cubs. I'm not even going to make a pick there. If I had to make a pick, if you put a gun against my head, I'm going to take the Nationals, but that's not a very confident pick because, again, who can trust the Nationals? And then we come down to the Astros versus the Red Sox. I am throwing a paper clip across the room right now. I am so mad. I wanted to go to one of these two games that are here in Houston. And the reason why I wanted to go to one of the first two games here in Houston, and the games are Thursday and Fridays, but they're played both. The first game on the 5th is at 3 p.m. The second game is at 1 p.m. on the Friday. And I've got to work, A. B, why did we get 2 day games? We're not going to make it back here for a 5th game. And why did we get 2 day games? And I'm so mad. The Houston fan base should be furious with the MLB right now because they're not going to be able to go. Not as many people are going to be able to go see these games that they want to go see. My brother happens to be going because we've got a family friend who's got tickets, and he happened to have one extra ticket. And, you know, my brother's a pain in the butt, and he just takes off work whenever he wants to because he's a lazy bum. But I have a dictator for a boss named Dick, and I don't get to have free time off and everything. No, we're doing a wonderful remote on Friday, and really excited.
Really throwing me under the bus today.
We're having a wonderful remote on Friday from April Sound Golf Course, and April Sound is a beautiful venue. We're going to be out there doing all of our shows out there. So tune in Friday to Montgomery County Talk Radio here on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5, 106.1, and worldwide on irlonestar.com. There, I made up for it right there, Dick. So yes, the Astros, I'm very upset because I don't think the Astros are going to allow this game to go to Game 5. I think the Astros take this in a 4-game series. I as much as I want to say, I'm in the same boat this year with the Red Sox as I am with the Nationals. I can't trust our offense to be consistent enough throughout a 5-game series, let alone a 7-game series, and, to make a deep run in the playoffs. Our starting pitching has looked questionable. We actually looked really good through the month of September, but man, it seemed to just all kind of at the end of the year, and it was really frustrating. And we'll see how Rodriguez does in the postseason. We'll see how and I got no problem with Sale. I think Sale's going to be very dominant there, but I don't think that the Red Sox are consistent enough to win a 5-game series, to perform well enough to win 3 games in a 5-game set. Therefore, I believe the Astros take this, and I believe they take it in 4. And I really hope it gets pushed to 5, and that way the dang Yankees don't get so much love, and we get an actual night game. Astros getting no love. No love. They could be the best. They could win the World Series this year, and they're getting no love. It's because we don't have a national market. Yankees. What the Red Sox do? Red Sox, MLB. I go on you. All right, moving on from baseball. I'm all riled up now. I don't want to spit in the microphone anymore. Moving on from baseball. Let's go on to the football talk from this past weekend. So basically, we're now at a point where we've seen 1 month of football, and we kind of know a little bit more about some teams. We kind of don't know enough about others, and then we're kind of very sure about how bad some teams are. And I think you all know where I'm going with this one. Eventually, we'll get to the 4-0-4 teams, which one of them happens to be my Giants. But this past weekend, we had a big, and the Monday night game was great. I mean, that was a really fun game to watch. You got to see the best of Kansas City and Washington. Like, wow, Washington. Where the heck did that come from? Talking about a team all off season just trending down with all the controversy. They had their 2 big receivers leaving. And yeah, I understand they're 2-2 and they're in second place in that division. They're tied with the Cowboys, who are 2-2, and we'll talk about their pitiful performance against the Rams. But no, I mean, that they look like the most complete team right now in the NFC East. And I know the big takeaway from from that game is Kansas City being 4-0 and the only 4-0, only undefeated team left in the NFL. But I'm more shocked and impressed by Washington and what they're doing in comparison to what, the Chiefs are. I'm not necessarily surprised. Alex Smith is playing outstanding and much improved from what we normally see out of Alex Smith, but that's Andy Reid. Andy Reid always has great regular seasons with whatever quarterback he's had. I mean, whether it was Favre, whether it was McNabb, whomever he had at his quarterback position, he's always had a great regular season. I think he's got like an 80 point something win percentage during the regular season. Andy Reid does, and that speaks volumes to him. The problem is he never seems to be able to finish it out in the when it actually matters, when it comes down to crunch time. So, I'm like I said, I'm more impressed by what Washington's doing, and I think even though they lost, they're trending up right now, and I think you could see them overtake that division in a slight way, but I don't think that division is going to be won by anybody who's more than a game or two over 500. So, as I say, they're trending up. I still don't think they're going to break that. They may not even get to the double digit markers, but I don't think at this point, I don't think the Cowboys are going to get to the double digit markers. And, the Eagles we'll have to see how this whole division plays against each other. And then, those Giants, they would have to go 10-2 over the next 12 weeks or 13 weeks to make it into double digit wins. And I just don't see that happening. No, it's bad. It's bad. They are one of the 4-0-4 teams at this moment. Number one, Bengals. They send the Browns to 0-4 with a 31-7 win over the Browns this past weekend. So Browns 0-4. Chargers lose to the Eagles in a close one because that's what Phillip Rivers does. He loses close games, and it's not his fault. That man, that poor man. And he didn't even want to go necessarily to San Diego. He got drafted and traded for Eli and had to live a life of San Diego Chargers football. That poor man, and he gets so ridiculed for his play. But, man, 24-26 they lost. 49ers go to 0-4 with a 15-18 loss to the Cardinals in overtime. That was a dreadful game to watch. And then we've got the Giants losing to the Bucs on another last-second heroics by just pure nasty luck. Oh, it's so hard to be a Giants fan. Oh, but you know what made up for it? The LA Rams beating the Cowboys. That was glorious. And when we come back from this break, we will talk about the LA Rams, the Cowboys, and what's going on. Whether it's Dak's fault, whether it's Elliott's fault, or if it's both, or if it's neither. So stay tuned here on Jake from Sports Talk, and we'll be right back.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available in Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Welcome back to Jake from Sports Talk, and I'm going to run through this really quick. You are listening to 104.5, 106.1, and worldwide on irlonestar.com. You can see the replays of the show. If you missed any part of it, if you want to hear my voice again and again and again, I know it's beautiful. I know it's wonderful. Go check it out on YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes. Just search Jake from Sports Talk. Go like, follow, subscribe, do whatever you need to do on all those formats, as well as the social media outlets that you have access to as well. So now we're going to dive in real quick. I want to talk Rams, Cowboys, and then I want to talk Texans and Deshaun Watson. So LA Rams at Jerry World. win 35-30 over the Cowboys. And man, it was exciting to watch because I was at a bar surrounded by Cowboys fans. And I don't care if my Giants lose. As long as the Cowboys are going down with us in a blaze of glory, I am dang happy. I promise you that much. So, but I want to examine this a little bit closer because, you know, people are like, oh, well, you know, Dak's not playing up to his potential. And then others are like, whoa, Elliott's not playing up to his potential. And then others are like, whoa, this team's on fire. And it's like, no, okay, slow down, take it down a notch. Their offensive line play has not been as good as it was last year. What they did last year was just, whoa, like unheard of good. And they were all-time Pro Bowl sort of situations in place and so on and so forth. But that allowed Dak and Elliott to be able to just basically play like they were playing, you know, 1-on or 2-on-nothing. You know, it was like they were going against Ghost. Now you're seeing Dak with a game of 20 for 30 for 252 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Every team in the NFL right now this past weekend would have taken those numbers. Dak looked incredibly accurate with his, and we thought we'd see the drop-off from his accuracy. No, he still looks really good. Go look at how many drops his number one, or quote-unquote supposed to be number one wide receiver, Dez Bryant, had. Go take a look at the stat lines of how many balls were targeted over to Dez and hit him in the hands and were just flat out dropped. And then you'll see out of those 10 drops, I think it was 8 of them. I'll cheat there and give you a little hint. It was 8 of those drops, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head. 8 targets to Dez, 8 of them dropped. That's pretty bad on Dez's fault. So Ezekiel Elliott, 21 carries for 85 yards and a TD. There's not much more you can ask out of your back that's just not getting any love from its offensive line. Now, we thought we would see a little better play, even if he wasn't getting the gaping holes that he was getting last year. But now he's not getting those mega massive holes. We're seeing some of his flaws. And we're seeing if you can bunch that middle a little more and you can use your corners to set the edge, you can kind of contain him and prevent him from getting over 100 yards. If I'm going to put any blame on these two players, or I guess any main faults on these two players, I would say that it's more Ezekiel Elliott's concerns at this point than Dak. I think Dak is wonderful right now, but Elliott's got to step up a little bit more, but I wouldn't say that he's the problem or an issue. Now, Texans. Wow. Talk about a big win this past weekend, 57-14. I swear that I was watching it at the bar and I was giggling and laughing and joyously drinking my beer as I watched the Cowboys lose. And then I kept turning and looking over at the other TV, and I was like, oh, wow, Texans got another touchdown. Oh, wow, Texans got another turnover. Oh, wow, it was a great just overall performance by a team, or against a team, that a lot of people were saying, hey, this is it. They're the real deal. Mariota's looking great. The Titans are looking great. The defense is looking great. They might actually get, their running game back going and whatnot, and so on and so forth. And we should have listened to Moneybags Mike's last week came on and said, he was like, yeah, hey, I think that the Texans are going to pull away here, and I think they're going to get a decisive win this upcoming weekend. He had them favored in that one, so kudos to him, even though the bum couldn't make it in today. Glad he was correct, and he was absolutely right. And I think we saw the defense for the first time a little healthier and just play more as a unit. And now the big thing for the Texans is not just doing this one week and saying, oh, okay, we played well. No, we got to keep this going consistently. And you've got a big game coming up this upcoming weekend against that 4-0 Chiefs. So it's not going to be an easy win. They are, are they playing the Chiefs at home? I looked it up earlier and I forgot now. But along with that, you also got the Texans got a big game. You've got the Pats and Bucks starting off this week, this NFL week, with the Pats going to the Bucks on Thursday Night Football. The big game I want to see is the Seahawks versus the Rams. Now, the reason why that's a big game is those two are in the same division. Both are 3-1, and both have the chance to take the lead in that division. Now, if you would have told me after 5 weeks of NFL play that the LA Rams were leading that division, not only would have I left at your face, I don't think anybody in the world would have taken you seriously. We probably would have tarred and feathered you and sent you to a remote island by yourself. That's how ridiculous of a statement that is. And yet, here it is, an actual viable option. Chiefs are coming to Houston, so it's a home game there. That'll be a big one there for them. But yeah, the Seahawks and Rams, I believe the Rams are at home. Yep, Seahawks are going to LA. The Seahawks defense looks really good, but so does this Rams offense somehow energized Todd Gurley and actually made him into something successful in the NFL. And then we got to see if the Cowboys can bounce back from their bad loss to the Rams. And they're playing at the Packers. They're going up to Green Bay. That's going to be a test. And then we've got the battle of the 0-4 teams. Somebody is going to become 1-4 after this weekend. Chargers fly from West Coast, and I'm not gonna. You wonder why I didn't call them the L.A. Chargers or the San Diego Chargers. I will not designate them a city yet because they do not have an official stadium in any place right now. They're playing in some rinky-dink shack in the backyard of somebody's house, and therefore I will not quite call them anything else other than the Chargers. In my personal opinion, and it'll never happen, but in my personal opinion, they need to move them out of California altogether. LA doesn't need two teams. We've already seen that they can't support fan base wise one team. And now we're going to throw a second team in there, and they haven't done very well since they've been there. San Diego's not willing to give the Chargers a new stadium. Oakland, we saw their problem with the new stadium. California budget financially just can't handle it. Why don't we send St. Louis a team again? Why don't we give them another team? You would recall that St. Louis lost their team to LA with the Rams going there. So why don't we send them the Chargers? That sounds like a fair trade. LA gets the Rams, St. Louis gets the Chargers. That would be great. I would love to see them go to San Antonio because I think the city of San Antonio would do a really good job with a sports team. But their biggest fear right now is the market is just too cluttered with Texans and Cowboys fans. I think if you take a team and you place it in San Antonio, how well they support the Spurs in San Antonio is unbelievable. Those people are diehards, and I can go on and on about this all together. But the Chargers do fly to New York, and they do play the Giants this upcoming weekend. The battle of the 0-4, the battle of the sloppy QB play, the battle of defenses that should be better than they actually are, or should be worse than they actually are. And it's a clutter mess. It'll be a sloppy game, a bad game. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. I'm calling the over-under on interceptions. I'm calling it 4. I'm taking the over on there. So, it's going to be a bad game to watch. But, hey, it's my Giants. I'm going to watch it nonetheless, and I'm going to root for those Packers. Beat those Cowboys. Woo! Go, Pack, go. All right, guys, you've been listening to Jake from Sports Talk here on Lone Star Community Radio. I'd like to thank you once again for coming in on another Wednesday, putting up with me, putting up with my antics. I enjoyed having you in. I hope you enjoyed letting me into your radio waves. We'll see you again next Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. on 104.5, 106.1, worldwide on irlonestar.com. Thanks for checking out this podcast of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. If you enjoyed this recording, make sure to check out our past shows online at irlonestar.com or their respective video or podcast formats on YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes. If you have any questions regarding the show, either it being about sponsorships or questions for the host, contact the station manager at dick@irlonestar.com or call the station at 936-647-3776. This show was recorded in downtown Conroe, Texas at the Lone Star Community Radio Studios, and Lone Star Community Radio reserves all rights to this recording and images.